I woke up inside a novel. The timing was impeccable. I arrived at the exact moment the original host, a despised live-in husband, was handing divorce papers to his wife. He tried to pull a fast one, getting her to sign while she was distracted, planning to wait out the mandatory 30-day cooling-off period before vanishing. The original guy had been framed left and right by his wife's, one that got away. He never defended himself, never fought back, and never walked away. He just stood there with a bitter smile, taking the abuse. He was the definition of a doormat, a total simp. But I am not that guy. What I didn't expect, however, was that after transmigrating, my wife would be able to hear my inner thoughts. Chapter 1. I was in. The scene before me was weirdly familiar. A $10,000 mahogany desk, and sitting across from it, a woman. The scent of cedar and expensive ink drifted through the air. She was wearing a tailored white silk blouse, her hair a cascading waterfall loosely pinned back, revealing the elegant curve of her neck. Her skin was porcelain, her features flawless, especially those cold, almond-shaped eyes that looked at everyone with a detached indifference. Evelyn Pierce, my wife in name only, the stunning CEO of Pierce Enterprises and one of the main heroines of this book. And me? I'm Chase Sterling, her despised, trophy husband who brought nothing to the table. On the desk, a divorce agreement slid toward her. Sign it. I stuck to the script in the original host's memory, keeping my face wooden as I spat out the two words. Hurry up and sign. Sign it, so I can go enjoy my life. Being a simp is exhausting. For the sake of this ice queen, the original guy let that so-called love of her life, Gavin Cole, treat him like a dog. In the end, he got kicked out with nothing and died on the street. I'm not playing along with this melodramatic, misunderstood romance crap. Divorce. It has to be divorce. I want six-pack abs. I want to travel. I want to eat at every Michelin star restaurant, brew my own beer, and play the field. Who wants to be a rich family's punching bag? Not me. Inside my head, a little version of me was doing a victory dance, planning my carefree life post-divorce. Across the desk, Evelyn's fingers, reaching for a pen, suddenly trembled. She looked up. For the first time, those eyes, usually calm as a stagnant well, showed something resembling shock. She was staring at me? What are you looking at? Never seen a man who wanted a divorce. I guess that makes sense. The original Chase was such a pushover. He probably thanked you for whipping him. See me grow a spine must be weird. But don't worry. Once the cooling-off period is up, I'll vanish. I won't get in the way of you and your precious Gavin playing house. Evelyn's pupils constricted. She gripped the pen so hard her knuckles turned white. Weird. This reaction was wrong. According to the plot, she should have signed without hesitation and coldly dropped a line like, "In 1 month, I don't want to see you in New York ever again." But now, she was just staring at me, like she was trying to solve a puzzle written on my face. You. She finally spoke, her voice carrying a barely perceptible rasp. Just now, what were you thinking? I froze. What was I thinking? I was thinking about my retirement plan. Was I thinking about you? Please. You're an iceberg. Looking at you makes my libido drop. Give me a fiery, passionate girl any day. Too bad I haven't had a chance to meet any since I got here. Though, honestly, Evelyn is top-tier gorgeous. That waist, those legs, those collarbones. Damn, shame she's so cold. If she actually smiled, she'd be lethal. On the surface, I kept my poker face. Nothing. Just sign. Riot, a crisp sound echoed in the room. I watched, helpless, as Evelyn picked up the divorce papers, my ticket to freedom, and tore them in half right in front of my eyes. Then, she tore them in half again. Finally, like she was tossing confetti, she threw the pieces into the trash beside her. Me? Excuse me? Lady? What are you doing? That's not how the script goes. Aren't you dying to get rid of me? You tore it up? How am I supposed to retire? How am I supposed to go live my best life? My inner voice was screaming, but my face stayed frozen in shock. Evelyn stood up, looking down at me. Her beautiful eyes held a complex mix of emotions, scrutiny, confusion, and something else. Something I couldn't read. We aren't getting divorced. She dropped that bomb, turned on her heel, and walked out of the room, her high heels clicking sharply on the floor, leaving me alone, staring at a trash can full of confetti, twisting in the wind. Wait, not divorcing, why? Could it be? My damn. Uncontainable charisma conquered her even through my silence. No, impossible. Absolutely impossible. Something is wrong with this world. Chapter 2. I couldn't figure out why Evelyn refused the divorce, so I decided to stop thinking about it. Where there's a will, there's a way. If she won't divorce me, I'll just find a way to make her. Anyway, I'm definitely not staying a trophy husband. Yeah, right? Back in my room, I surveyed the place the original host had lived in for 3 years. Calling a room was generous. It was a converted storage closet, a twin bed, a shabby wardrobe, and not a single window. Yikes. The original guy really had it rough. Married into the Pierce family and living like the help. Evelyn is brutal. Even if you despise the guy, he's legally your husband. Would it kill you to give him a guest room? Whatever. I won't be here long. I stripped off the wrinkled suit and changed into loose sportswear. The mirror reflected a handsome face, but pale, with dark circles under the eyes. The look of someone totally burnt out. I knew it was just from long-term stress and malnutrition. Starting today, fitness routine is a go. Six-pack abs, here I come. I dropped and did a few sets of push-ups and crunches, enjoying the burn on my muscles. My mood lifted instantly. After a shower, my stomach started growling. I wandered into the kitchen and opened the gigantic stainless steel fridge. Aside from rows of expensive mineral water and some organic yogurt, it was empty. Great. The Ice Queen CEO really does survive on dew and air. If I want to eat, I have to make it myself. Luckily, while the original host was a pushover, he came from a family of chefs. I inherited the muscle memory, and my own cooking wasn't half bad either. I rummaged through the pantry and managed to find some flour, eggs, garlic, and parsley. Fine, I'll make aglio e olio, pasta with garlic and oil. Fresh pasta at that. Kneading the dough, resting it, rolling it out, cutting the noodles, it all flowed perfectly. The scent of frying garlic and olive oil soon filled the kitchen. I boiled the fresh noodles, tossed them in the emulsion, and topped it all with a perfectly fried, sunny-side-up egg. Perfection. I was holding the bowl, ready to dig in, when I looked up and saw Evelyn standing in the kitchen doorway. She had changed into silk pajamas, her hair down. She looked less like a shark in a boardroom and more like a woman relaxing at home. She was staring quietly, specifically at the bowl in my hand. What are you looking at? Want some? No way. This is for me. If you want food, make it yourself. But a princess like you probably doesn't even know how to turn on the stove. Evelyn's throat moved slightly. A swallow. I deliberately slurped a huge mouthful of noodles, letting out a satisfied sigh. Delicious. Her gaze intensified. Just when I thought she was going to ask for a bite, she turned and walked away. Just like that. Boring. I thought she'd lower herself to beg for a taste. I shook my head and kept eating. One bowl down, and I felt reborn. Humming a tune, I washed the dishes and headed back to my windowless cell to sleep. Passing the living room, I saw Evelyn on the sofa, tablet in hand, reviewing documents. But her eyes kept drifting toward the kitchen. Still thinking about my noodles? Should have spoken up. I might have given you half. Now. Too late. I smirked internally and skipped up the stairs. The next morning, I was woken by frantic knocking. It was Arthur, the house manager. Mr. Sterling, the madam requests your presence downstairs immediately. Important guests have arrived. I yawned. Important guests? Let me guess. It's Gavin Cole, the one that got away. The plot really doesn't deviate, does it? I took my sweet time getting dressed and followed Arthur downstairs. Sure enough, sitting in the living room was a guy in a white suit, looking like a catalog model. Gavin Cole. He saw me, and a flash of disdain crossed his eyes before he covered it with a smile, standing up to address Evelyn. Evelyn, this must be... Evelyn interrupted him, her face expressionless. My husband, Chase Sterling. Oh, you remember I'm your husband? I thought you'd introduce me as the driver or the bodyguard. I chuckled internally as I walked up to her. Gavin's smile stiffened, but he quickly extended a hand toward me warmly. Chase, pleasure. I've heard so much about you. I'm Gavin Cole, a friend of Evelyn's. I barely lifted my eyelids. I didn't shake his hand. Friend? The kind of friend who tries to steal someone's wife. Heard so much about me? Or I'm a loser, you mean? I'm not shaking that hand. I don't want to catch whatever you have. The air in the room froze. Everyone's eyes were on me. Evelyn's parents, who were also there, looked furious. Gavin's hand hung awkwardly in midair. Just then, Evelyn suddenly reached out and looped her arm through mine. He's a bit shy with strangers. Don't mind him, she said to Gavin. Her tone was cool, but the defense was obvious. Me? Gavin. Evelyn's parents. Lady, what are you doing? Shy. I've lived 20-something years and never knew I had social anxiety. You're putting a target on my back. Look at Gavin's eyes. You want to skin me alive? Woman, you have successfully caught my attention. Just kidding. You're just slowing down my retirement. I felt the hand on my arm tighten slightly. Chapter 3. Evelyn's move was like tossing a boulder into a calm lake. Gavin's face went through a kaleidoscope of colors, pale to red to green. He never dreamed his carefully orchestrated first meeting would be slapped down by Evelyn like this. Her parents' expressions were priceless, shifting between looking at me and her, clearly wondering if their daughter had been possessed. Nice. I don't know what the Ice Queen is up to, but seeing Gavin look like he swallowed a fly is refreshing. More of this, please. My inner self grabbed some popcorn. Evelyn seemed to sense my schadenfreude. She subtly pinched my arm. Not hard, more like a lover's tease. I stiffened. Ouch. Why'd she pinch me? Don't think I'll be grateful just because you saved me a headache. I'm telling you, no way. Personal space, lady. Let go. I tried to pull my arm back, but Evelyn held on tighter. She even leaned half her body against me, surrounding me with that faint cedar scent. Soft. Warm. I shuddered, my body tensing up. Damn, that actually felt good. Calm down. It's a trap. It's a sugar-coated bullet. She's definitely plotting something. Probably using me as a shield to finally cut Gavin off. Use me and toss me aside, just like in the soaps. I, Chase Sterling, will not be fooled. Gavin finally recovered from his shock, forcing a smile. Evelyn, you two seem close. Evelyn gave a faint, then looked at me, her eyes asking a question. I understood immediately. She wanted me to play along. I cleared my throat and drawled. It's all right, I guess. Close my ass. Sleeping in a storage closet, starving and freezing. That's close. If the original host were here, he'd be weeping with gratitude. But me? No thanks. The corner of Evelyn's mouth twitched, almost imperceptibly. Gavin's face darkened. He took a deep breath and produced an exquisite gift box from behind him. Evelyn, I heard you haven't had much of an appetite lately. I flew in a 3-star Michelin chef from Paris to prepare a French feast for you. I hope you like it. He moved to open the box. I sneered. French food? Give me a break. Evelyn looks cosmopolitan, but she has a pure American comfort food stomach. She hates that cold, tiny portion fancy stuff. And a Michelin chef? A hot bowl of pasta would beat that any day. Idiot. Chasing a girl, and you don't even know what she likes. You deserve to be single. No need. Evelyn cut Gavin off coldly. I don't like French cuisine. Gavin's smile froze completely. How can that be? You used to love. That was before, Evelyn said mercilessly. Now I prefer simple food. She paused, turning to look at me. Those cold eyes actually held a trace of expectation, especially the garlic and oil pasta my husband makes. Boom, my brain short-circuited. What? What did she say? She likes my pasta. How does she know? Wait, she saw me yesterday. But this reaction is overkill. Saying that in front of everyone? That's basically a public declaration. I'm doomed. I'm never getting divorced now. My retirement plan is in critical condition. Gavin looked like he was in physical pain, a mix of jealousy, rage, and disbelief. He stared at me, daggers in his eyes. You cook. His tone was dripping with skepticism. Before I could speak, Evelyn answered for me. He does, and it's delicious. There was a tone in her voice I'd never heard before, a hint of pride. In that moment, looking at her profile, my heart skipped a beat. True power doesn't need to prove anything to the world. It just is. I think I'm starting to understand why she didn't sign the papers. The meal was a disaster. Gavin practically fled the scene. Evelyn's parents looked at me less with disgust and more with suspicion. Back upstairs, Evelyn finally let go of my arm. I immediately took 3 steps back, maintaining a safety perimeter. Scare me to death. She definitely took the wrong meds today. Linking arms, complimenting me. I'm rattled. No, I need to fast-track the divorce. If this keeps up, I might actually fall for it. As I plotted, Evelyn suddenly spoke. Move into the master bedroom. Me, huh? The master bedroom? The one with the California king bed, the balcony, and a walk-in closet? No, no, no. Can't do it. I'm a rejected husband on his way out. How can I sleep in your bed? Although, that mattress does look really soft. I'm not used to sleeping with people. I refused firmly. Evelyn looked at me deeply. I already had Arthur clear out the storage room. Me? Wow, burning my bridges. You didn't even leave me my closet? You're forcing me up the mountain. This woman has a black heart. Seeming to sense my reluctance, Evelyn added calmly, the bed is huge. You can sleep on the edge. With that, she turned and went into the bathroom. I stood there, wanted to cry, but failing. What is happening? The road to a lazy life is long and hard. The next day, I woke up to a ringing phone. I opened my eyes to an unfamiliar ceiling, a soft mattress, a warm down comforter, and the lingering scent of cedar in the air. I actually slept in the master bedroom, and I slept like a baby. I've gone soft. I've fallen. Beauty is a trap. I sat up, rubbing my head. Evelyn was gone. On the nightstand was a note, her handwriting sharp and elegant. Emergency at the office. Breakfast is downstairs. I picked up the phone. It was a subordinate calling. Yes, I may have transmigrated into a loser body, but in my previous life, I was a titan of industry. My retirement just meant delegating the work to my inner circle while I handled the big picture. Boss, regarding the renewable energy project you ordered. We're ready to close the net today, said David, my most trusted assistant. His voice was steady. Good. Proceed as planned. I answered lazily. Another day, another fortune made. Boring. Money doesn't buy happiness, but it buys freedom. I have enough. More importantly, what for lunch? I hung up, stretched, and went downstairs to forage. Entering the dining room, I saw an unwanted guest. Madison Vance, heiress to the Vance family, my ex-fiancée, and the book's toxic mean girl. She was wearing a high-end power suit, makeup flawless, radiating arrogance as she sat at the table talking to Evelyn. Seeing me walk down in pajamas with messy hair, her eyes flashed with intense disdain. Well, if it isn't Master Sterling. Finally decided to wake up, she said, her voice dripping with sarcasm. I ignored her, grabbed a piece of toast, and sat down. Madison Vance? What you doing here? Oh, right. In the book, this is where she comes to negotiate a joint venture with Evelyn, insulting me in the process to assert dominance. Evelyn, trying to save face, agrees to a terrible deal, costing the company millions. Ugh, women making life hard for other women. I chew my toast, narrating internally. Across from me, Evelyn's hand paused as she lifted her coffee cup. Madison didn't notice. She kept pressing. Evelyn, I have to say, your taste has really deteriorated. You passed up a catch like Gavin for. This, something that shouldn't even be allowed indoors. Evelyn looked up, eyes cold. My family matters aren't up for discussion. Fine, fine. I won't mention him. Madison threw up her hands in mock surrender. Let's talk business. The South Side lot. Both the Vance family and Pierce Enterprises want it. I propose a joint development. 70/30ths split on the profits. We get 70, you get 30. Deal. I almost choked on my toast point. 70/30. Is she robbing a bank? The South Side lot looks useless, but there's a rare earth mineral deposit underneath. I already locked down that info. I'm having David buy it through a shell company next week. Madison has good instincts to want the land, but she definitely doesn't know about the minerals. 70/30. Giving her 10% would be charity. If Evelyn agrees to this, she's an idiot. Evelyn sipped her coffee, set it down, and looked at Madison. Slowly, clearly she spoke. We can collaborate. Madison's eyes lit up with triumph. However, Evelyn pivoted. Profit split is 90/10. We get 90. You get 10. Puffed. I sprayed milk across the table. Madison's expression looked like she'd swallowed a live toad. Evelyn, are you insane? She shrieked. 90 out of 10? Why don't you just ask me to give it to you for free? Evelyn calmly wiped the corner of her mouth with a napkin, her gaze placid. I'm notifying you of the terms, not negotiating them. Badass. My wife is a badass. Wait, ex-wife. Soon to be ex-wife. Well played. You can't give an inch to people like her. But wait, where did this confidence come from? Does she know about the minerals too? Impossible. I buried that intel deep. My inner theater was in full swing. Madison was shaking with rage. She pointed at Evelyn, then at me. Fine, fine. Evelyn Pierce, you're humiliating me for the sake of this loser. You'll regret this. Dropping the threat, she stomped out on her heels, fury radiating off her. Silence returned to the living room. I looked at Evelyn, feeling like I knew her less and less. She put down her silverware and looked up, catching my eye. What? She asked. Nothing. I looked away. Just feels like you're different today. More than different. It's like a personality transplant. The old you is cold, but never this aggressive. Now you're fighting like a gladiator, roasting everyone. I kind of like it. The last 4 words popped up subconsciously. I startled myself. No. Like my ass. I like lounging. I like freedom. Relationships just slowed down my sword arm. Across from me, right as my internal conflict peaked, Evelyn's ears turned a suspicious shade of pink. She lowered her head, hiding behind her coffee cup. The sight was oddly cute. I shook my head, expelling the dangerous thought. Breakfast over, I prepared to return to my room to resume my Project Lazy, researching local hidden gem restaurants. I reached the stairs when Evelyn called out. Accompany me this afternoon. No, I said without turning. You kidding? I have a date with my elliptical machine. I need to sculpt these abs. Who has time for you? The head chef at the vault in the West End is a friend of mine. She threw out the bait casually. My feet stopped working. The vault? The private kitchen where you need a 3-month reservation for an appetizer? The head chef is her friend? For real? I turned around, looking at her suspiciously. Evelyn met my gaze, the corner of her mouth hooking up slightly. He recently created a new seafood stew, supposed to be life-changing. Gulp. I swallowed hard. Seafood stew. Damn it. She's using food to seduce me. Am I, Chase Sterling, the kind of man who bows down for a meal? What time? I asked. Yes. Evelyn's smile deepened. 3 o'clock. Meet me downstairs. At 3, I appeared, dressed in casual wear. Evelyn had ditched the power suit for a pale blue sundress with a white cardigan. She looked gentle, intellectual. Let's go. She walked over naturally and tried to take my arm again. I dodged sideways with lightning reflexes. No touching. We are strictly food buddies. Evelyn's hand froze in midair, a flash of disappointment crossing her eyes. My heart gave a weird thud. Seriously? She said. A woman's heart is a deep ocean. Fine. It's just an arm. Won't kill me. I sighed and extended my elbow. Evelyn paused. Then a brilliant smile bloomed on her face. In that instant, the iceberg melted. Spring arrived. I admit I was dazzled. This woman, when she smiles, she's actually freaking gorgeous. We walked out of the villa side by side into the sunshine. I suddenly had the illusion that we weren't a couple on the brink of divorce, but lovers in the honeymoon phase. The thought sent a shiver down my spine. Danger. Extreme danger. The vault was tucked away in a quiet alley in the West End, looking unassuming but screaming old money. Evelyn was clearly a VIP. We were ushered straight through the winding corridors to a private room. The head chef, a middle-aged man who looked like a culinary wizard, smiled when he saw Evelyn. Ms. Pierce, long time no see. And this is... His eyes landed on me. My husband, Chase Sterling, Evelyn introduced. Here we go again. The sweet intro, making it sound like I'm actually her husband. Wake up, Chase. You're getting divorced. The chef raised an eyebrow. Oh, Evelyn's husband. A pleasure. After the pleasantries, the food arrived. When the tureen of steaming, aromatic seafood stew was placed on the table, my eyes nearly popped out. Holy cow. Look at that. Abalone, sea cucumber, scallops. That broth is liquid gold. Thick, rich. You could tell it's been simmering for 48 hours. I am drooling. I am literally drooling. Evelyn served me a bowl personally, handing it to me with a smile. Try it. I took a sip immediately. Flavor bomb. The umami exploded on my tongue. The essence of the ocean perfectly fused. Rich but not greasy. How is it? She asked expectantly. It's okay, I said, while shoveling another spoonful. More than okay. It's divine, it's just. Missing one tiny thing. If they had added a specific cut of cured ham during the simmer and used a vintage aged sherry instead of regular cooking wine, the depth would be insane. I was burying my face in the bowl when the chef suddenly spoke. Mr. Sterling seems to have some thoughts on the dish. I froze and looked up. Both the chef and Evelyn were staring at me. What the hell? I didn't say anything. Did my face betray me? No. I shot a glance at Evelyn. She looked innocent, but there was a glint of mischief in her clear eyes. A ridiculous thought struck me like lightning. From tearing up the papers, to defending me, to knowing my favorite pasta, to this. All the irrational behavior pointed to one impossible explanation. Can she hear my thoughts? The idea made my heart stop. I decided to test it. I looked at Evelyn and thought loudly. If you can hear me, blink. Evelyn's eyelashes fluttered like butterfly wings. Once. Twice. Me? I stared at her and thought again. If you can really hear me, touch your earlobe. Evelyn lifted her teacup. As it reached her lips, her hand moved casually, her white fingertip brushing her earlobe. Crash, my world collapsed. It's over. It is all over. My trash talking about her ice face, my plans to find hot girls after the divorce, my perverted thoughts about her legs. She heard everything. My face burned hotter than the soup. Life is cruel. I thought I was playing on easy mode, but I was actually on public humiliation mode. Chapter 7. I sat rigid in my chair, my brain completely blank. My spoon clattered into the bowl. Public execution. This was the highest level of social death. Every crude, snarky, weird thought I'd had in the last few days had been broadcast live to the subject of those thoughts. I couldn't even look her in the eye. I'm dead. I'm absolutely dead. She must think I'm a pervert, a weirdo, a mental case. Divorce. Now. Immediately. I can't stay here another second. Earth, please open up and swallow me whole. The chef looked confused by my reaction. Mr. Sterling? Is there something wrong with the stew? No. No problem. I practically shouted, my voice cracking. Evelyn finally couldn't hold it in. She burst out laughing. Her laugh was like wind chimes, beautiful and bright. It almost took my soul away. Laugh. Go ahead and laugh. You mind-reading demon, my innocence, my reputation, my cool image. All destroyed, I wanted to cry. Evelyn stopped laughing and turned to the chef. Uncle Wong, my husband thinks that if you added a small piece of cured ham during the simmer and swapped the cooking wine for vintage sherry, the flavor profile will be much deeper. She repeated my inner critique word for word. Uncle Wong's eyes lit up. He slapped his thigh. Brilliant. Why didn't I think of that? Using the sherry's sweetness to balance the brine, and the ham to lift the umami. Genius. Pure genius. His look changed from curiosity to worship. Mr. Sterling is a master. My apologies. I forced a smile that looked like a grimace. Master my foot. I'm a keyboard warrior. Lady, stop praising me. I'm begging you. Just let me die in peace. Evelyn ignored my internal screaming. She stood up. Let's go. It's getting late. I felt like I'd been granted amnesty. I fled the room behind her. On the ride back, the atmosphere in the car was awkward enough to build a house with. I huddled in the passenger seat, staring straight ahead, terrified to think a single thought. Blank mind. Blank mind. We spoke at the same time. You go first, she said. I took a deep breath, summoned all my courage, turned to her, and asked when did it start? Evelyn drove, eyes on the road, but her ears turned red again. Just the day you brought the divorce papers. I blacked out for a second. Great. Day 1. I've been streaking in front of her for days without knowing it. Then why? I struggled to speak. Why didn't you tell me? Evelyn was silent for a moment. Softly, she said, because it was interesting. Me? Interesting? You call my trauma interesting. This is my blood and tears, lady. And she paused, her voice dropping lower. If I hadn't, I might never have known what the real you is like. The real me? A snarky, food-obsessed, lazy loser who thinks about girls. What's good about that? It's good. She answered the question in my head. 1,000,000 times better than the Chase Sterling who just followed me around, silent, repressed, and lifeless. The car stopped at the villa. She unbuckled her seatbelt and turned, those clear eyes locking onto mine. Chase, can we start over? Her eyes held a hope and nervousness I'd never seen before. In that moment, looking at her flushed cheeks and bright eyes, the little man in my head screaming for divorce suddenly went mute. My heart started pounding aggressively. Screw the bachelor life. Screw the Michelin stars. It seems being with her might not be so bad. Chapter 8. Since the reveal, Our relationship entered a weird phase. I knew she could hear me. She knew I knew she could hear me. I lived in a constant state of thought nudity panic. Like waking up in the morning, seeing her sleeping face inches away. Skin is so good. Want a pinch. The thought would pop up, and her long lashes would flutter, a smile touching her lips. Me? Or when I finished a workout, walking out of the home gym shirtless. Abs are popping. Nice. Evelyn would walk by, her gaze lingering on my stomach for 3 solid seconds before floating away with a red face. Me? I felt like I was developing a split personality, trying to control my thoughts while simultaneously being drawn to her. And Evelyn, she went into full conquest mode. She'd accidentally mention a new restaurant I'd been thinking about. She'd coincidentally buy the exact craft beer I was craving. She even started learning to cook. Though the first time, she turned the kitchen into a war zone and almost burned the house down. Watching her covered in flour, looking helpless, I couldn't help myself. Idiot, you don't put wet veggies into hot oil unless you want to explode. Fine, fine. Since you're trying so hard, I'll teach you. I sighed, walked over, and held her hand guiding the spatula. The oil is too hot. Turn it down. My chest was pressed against her back. She stiffened instantly, heat radiating from her neck to her ears. So soft. Smells so good. Chase Sterling. Focus. Control yourself. I reined in my mind and taught her how to make basic scrambled eggs with tomatoes. That night, we ate the salty, ugly eggs, but both thought it tasted better than anything else. Life was moving in a sweet, strange direction, until Madison Vance showed up again. Pierce Enterprises held a gala. As the spouse, I was dragged along by Evelyn. At the party, I saw Madison. She clearly knew about the minerals underneath the South Side lot by now. She looked at me with pure venom. Halfway through, she approached with a wine glass. Evelyn, you're ruthless, she hissed. But don't get cocky. I'm not done. Evelyn barely glanced at her. Ignored, Madison turned her rage on me. A useless man living off his wife. What are you proud of? Here we go. Classic villain tantrum. Can we get some new lines? It's always the same script. I'm sleepy. I want to go home. I yawned, looking bored. Seeing my indifference, Madison shouted loudly. Everyone look. The CEO of Pierce Enterprises is keeping a toy boy. Her voice drew the entire room's attention. She pointed at a man talking to Evelyn nearby, a manager at Pierce Enterprises. Evelyn, don't deny it. You two make eyes at each other at the office every day. Puffed. Is Madison brain dead? That's Manager Rogers. His kid is in elementary school. And he's gay. Like super gay. Evelyn wouldn't look at him if he was the last man on earth. I roasted her internally. Evelyn's face went cold. The crowd whispered, eyeing us with glee. Just as Evelyn was about to snap, I stopped her. I stepped in front of her, looked at Madison, and smiled. Ms. Vance, you shouldn't spread rumors. First, Manager Rogers is happily married to a wonderful man. I can show you their wedding photos. Second, I paused, pulled Evelyn by the waist into my arms, and whispered so only we could hear, my wife only has eyes for me. She has high standards. Then, I kissed her gently on the forehead. The room went silent. Madison turned purple. In my arms, Evelyn stiffened, blushed, and looked at me with eyes full of stars. Oops. Impulsive. Character break. Major character break. My lazy bum persona is officially ruined. But looking at the shy woman in my arms and the envy in everyone else's eyes. Yeah, this feels pretty good. Chapter 9. After that kiss, my reputation in the city's elite circles flipped. From the Pierce family's useless trash to the mysterious man who tamed the Ice Queen. Rumors flew. Some said I was an heir to a hidden dynasty. Some said I was a super hacker. Some said I was a time traveler. My reaction, thanks for the fanfic, guys. I'm just chilling. David, my assistant, leaned into the lazy persona. He made a social media account called That the So Is Sleeping In. Daily post. Boss didn't wake up today either. Picture. Me sunbathing or cooking. It started as a joke. Until Evelyn's stock soared on a tip I gave her. When reporters asked how she made the decision, she smiled at the camera. My husband said it would make money. The internet exploded. At the CO Is Sleeping In went viral. Comments flooded in. God-tier husband. Makes money while sleeping. I need his book, The Art of Winning While Lazy. My husband just plays video games and farts. David called me, excited. Boss, your personal brand is established. Me? Thanks, I hate it. I just want to be a salted fish. You made me a golden koi. But the biggest headache was Evelyn. Since the kiss, the way she looked at me changed. The love and possessiveness were unmasked. It was intense. She put food on my plate in public. Eat more, you're too thin. Lady, I'm ripped. Where am I thin? She watched me work out, handing me water. Tired? Rest a bit. Then she touched my abs. Hey, sexual harassment. She even gave me a nickname. Chasey. First time I heard it, I almost died. Chasey? Why not just call me baby? I'm a grown man. Next day, she switched. Baby, breakfast is ready. Me? I take it back. Chasey is fine. But amidst the sweet torture, my desire to run away vanished. I started looking forward to waking up to her clumsy cooking, to her clinging to me like a little girl, being loved and trusted like this. It was warm. I could get used to this. Chapter 10 life is like a box of chocolates, but mine was all caramel, too sweet. Gavin Cole showed up again. This time he came for me. He met me at a high-end tea house, acting humble. Mr. Sterling, I didn't know who I was dealing with. Please forgive me. He poured me tea. Oh, a change of strategy? I sipped the tea, silent. Gavin gritted his teeth and pulled out a document. Mr. Sterling, this is a transfer for 10% of the shares of my subsidiary. As long as you, he swallowed. As long as you leave Evelyn, it's yours. I almost laughed out loud. 10% of a subsidiary? Is this a joke? 51% of Evelyn's entire corporation is secretly in my name. Do I look like a beggar? Oh, right, I haven't told her that yet. I put down the cup, looking at him like he was a clown. Mr. Cole, do I look like I need money? Gavin froze. He'd investigated me. Orphan. No background. He thought money would work. Don't be greedy, he snarled. For a live-in husband. This is a fortune. Live in. I smiled. You're confused. I stood up, looming over him. From the start, Evelyn was chasing me. I gave her the chance to be my wife. As for you, I dusted off my shoulder. You don't even qualify to be my rival. I walked out, leaving him looking like he was having a stroke. Outside, the sun was shining. I'm Batoon walking home. At the gate, Evelyn's car was waiting. She was leaning against it, arms crossed. Seeing me, she rushed over, worry all over her face. Did he give you trouble? She's so worried. I guess I really mattered to her. I pretended to be grim. Yeah, he did. What? She flared up. What did he do? He tried to smash me with money, I said with a straight face. To make me leave you. Evelyn's aura turned murderous. He has a death wish. And then I grinned. I tore up his check and told him my wife is way richer than him. Evelyn paused. Realizing I was teasing, she punched my chest lightly. You jerk. It was soft. A flirtatious hit. I caught her hand and pulled her into my embrace. So, as a reward for resisting temptation. What reward? She looked up, eyes misty. I leaned down to her ear. How about we destroy that divorce agreement for good? Her eyes lit up like diamonds. Okay. She stood on tiptoes and kissed me. In the distance, inside a black Bentley, Madison gripped the steering wheel, tears in her eyes. Watching the couple kissing in the sunlight, she finally understood what she had missed. It wasn't a loser. It was the whole world. End.